Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about, as always, important things. I want to ask you a question. Do you ever have the sense that you're not living your life properly, that you're not heading in the right direction, that you don't know your purpose, you don't know what your goals should be or which way you should go next? Do you ever have that sense? A lot of people do. Do you realize that that's proof positive that there is a purpose in life, that you do have a direction that you should be going? Okay? Look, if you take a look at bunny rabbits and turkeys, we have turkeys around where we live. They walk up and down the street and around on the path that I can see right here out my window. I can look out my window and see the turkeys sometimes. Sometimes they're there when I'm making a program and they start making a whole bunch of ruckus, a lot of noise. You might hear them in the background. But turkeys don't have any issues about, oh, what am I going to do with my life? And, everything seems pointless and futile and I don't know which way to go. They don't have that kind of a feeling. Bunny rabbits don't. Squirrels don't have that feeling. So why do humans? The reason is because humans are not just animals. We have a soul, okay? And we have an awareness, we have a consciousness. See, animals are awake. Animals are either awake. See, I always go back, I have to keep going back to basics because a lot of people have never heard that. You've never heard this, okay? Which is really important. Or you heard it, you heard me say it, but you missed it somehow. Some people listen to my program for years and they miss some things. They just don't get it. So I'm going to say it again. Animals are either awake or asleep. Okay? But humans are either asleep, awake, or awake and aware. Now, a lot of people go around basically awake. They're kind of in a hypnotic trance. They do things mindlessly, by rote, by memorization. See, they say things that somebody said or that pop into their mind. They don't even know where those things come from. They do things they don't even know why they're doing them. Why did I do that? You see people, they get themselves in big trouble, one way or another, and then they ask themselves, why did I do that? Why did I do that for? Or the morning after the night before, you say, oh my God. See? Well, see what I mean? So you're controlled by forces, out in the environment that you don't even know why you're doing what, because you don't have awareness. All you are is awake. So it's good enough for animals to be awake. God gives them instinct. Okay? They don't have a purpose, a destiny. Well, they have a destiny of sorts, don't they? But their destiny is, what? To live a while and then die. Or become food for something else. That's their destiny. But you can sense that that's not enough for humans. Okay? All right, so now you see that the little proof that I made right there, that there's more to life than just eating, drinking, and like that. More to life than that. So how are you going to find out your purpose? Well, there's plenty of people around to tell you, but how do they give you a purpose? They motivate you. They tease you. They challenge you. See? They pressure you. See? Pressure, pressure, pressure. Tease, tease, tease. Challenge, challenge, challenge. There's crude tease, which you get in school or on the playground. And then there's sophisticated tease, which we call it challenge. The coach challenges you. The teacher challenges you to do better, more, to be ambitious. Okay, so that's what they do. They challenge you to study, study, study. Okay, and do whatever you're told in order to get a promotion or to get some benefit. So they tease you to be ambitious. But be careful of that. See, it's one thing to be industrious. I always say it's good to be industrious. That's good. But there's a difference between being industrious and ambitious. Can you see the difference? A person could be industrious and successful and be happy with whatever they acquire. Another person could be ambitious, see, and try to knock other people down to build himself up and step over others and fight tooth and claw. And then after they get, then they're not happy with what they get. All right, so you got the idea. So how do you find your purpose? Okay. Well, the first thing you have to see is that you've been pressured out of your gourd, pressured out of your mind, teased and challenged, and most of your life has you've been lived in response to that tease. Your mom, see, oh, you've got to make something of yourself. Either they were successful and then you have to be successful too, or that she says, oh, your dad was a failure and he never did very well, and I don't want you to be like him, a good for nothing. There was a joke. A little kid said, Mom, if I'm good, will you give me $1? And the mom said, why don't you be a good for nothing like your dad? Why don't you be good for nothing like your dad? Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. So there it is. So you see the comparison. Well, your dad's good for nothing. I mean, it's a joke, but you see that a lot in families. So you don't want to be a good for nothing, so you have to succeed. So then you feel the pressure. You can't be free to find your own way. See, most of the failure, you look at the failures, the dropouts, the people in jail, the people in the gutter, the homeless people, the people that never accomplish anything. Of course, why? What happened to them? Once upon a time, they were sweet little children full of love and happiness and smart and clever. And what happened to them? Somebody was cruel to them, and they were pressured and teased, see? And so they didn't make it. See, for every person that succeeds due to pressure, but then the person is not happy with what they get, there's 10 people that are failures because of pressure. And then the evil pressure mongers, you know, the ones that pressure you, see, the ones that challenge you to achieve. See, then they point the fingers at the ones that are failing and say, look, you don't want to be like them. But who made them? Who made the failures failures? It was the pressure mongers. See? All right. So there's a lot of pressure. So what do you do? You have to learn to observe the pressure and not resent it. Don't resent it, okay? Don't resent your mom for pressuring you, your dad. Don't resent teachers, the coaches, the other kids, the bullies, the teases, the media. They're just everywhere. The peer group, there's pressure everywhere. So just see the pressure, observe it, don't resent it. Then you'll be okay. Just don't resent it. Because if you resent it, that's a reaction to it. And when you react to it, it gets inside of you, and when it's inside of you, then you struggle with it, then eventually you give in to it. Okay? So don't resent it. That's your first line of defense. Just see the pressure and don't resent it. Okay? But you're going to find pressure. People pressure you when you're driving. They get behind you and they honk their horn. See? Don't resent it. See? Okay, some of the people that are successful, who you undoubtedly hated when you were a kid, the coaches and the teachers and your parents, they said, well, look at John, look how successful he is. Or look at Mary. Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she so successful and so smart? And why can't you be that way? See? Okay, so they hold those people up, and then sometimes you end up hating that person who they're holding up as a model, thinking that person is a bad, mean person or something. Well, the ones they're holding up as a model, they may just be naturally doing well, but not because they're trying to lord it over anybody or anything. They just are naturally talented. So don't hate. So don't resent them. Okay? They're being used. See? You look at a good football player, and then he ends up being used. The coaches use him. The school uses him. Everybody uses him. The clever person ends up being a comedian on a stage. I've seen, I'll never forget. I was at a piano. There was actually a piano competition that I was at, And my son entered it, not because I pressured him, which I never did. He just naturally gravitated toward the piano. He got very good. But anyway, there was a piano competition. Then there was one fellow there who ended up winning. It was a good, a very, a well-known competition. But I saw that after he played, he kind of went through the motions. I could see he was going through the motions. He played, and in his mind, I bet he was thinking, I'm playing okay, but I'm not playing that great. And then he stood up and looked at the audience, and everybody was cheering wildly. And I saw him look at the people, okay? And I saw that he was watching them. He was judging them, in other words. He was judging them for clapping so wildly when he didn't play that well. He was judging them because he saw that they were used. They were somehow absorbing and eat and trying to eat, imbibe that moment. They were getting a thrill and excitement. They were getting something out of it. He was being used, putting on a show for them. See, and they were using him, he saw that. A lot of ladies feel that way. They would like a man to love them for themselves, not use them. But then they end up being used, not loved, and so they resent men for that. Okay, so everywhere you turn, there's exploitation. So number one, don't exploit other people. Don't use other people. Okay, and don't resent them either. Resentment is a secret use of people. Secretly using a person to puff up and judge, see, and feel superior to them in your hatred of them for some reason. So don't resent other people. Don't feel sorry for them on the one hand, but don't resent them on the other. Okay, and then go about your business. See, sometimes you're in a place where there's pressure. You have to be there. You don't have any choice. You have to be there for whatever reason. Or maybe you started working somewhere, you need the money, you got a family, you absolutely have to, it's a job and there's pressure. Or you're being used or exploited or something like that. If the work is decent enough, okay, you're not being asked to do anything morally wrong, then just bide your time. Do your work, see the pressure, but don't react to it. Just do what you can, and wait for your time. Maybe you can find another job, or be transferred somewhere, or start your own business, or see what I mean. But just bid your time. But the main thing is don't resent it. If you resent it, then you can get caught up in it. You get pulled in. How many times have you seen a young person enter a corporate office, and there they are, young and innocent, and beautiful, nice, with ideals and so on. And then after a few years in the corporate environment, they become completely plastic. See? But I don't want to knock the corporate environment, because for the most part, business is not that bad, really. Not that bad. At least in America, it hasn't been. It's been kind of okay business, and you learn a lot. You can learn a lot there, and you can even do some good there. Okay, so it's not that bad. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that there are pressures there. So the main defense is don't resent them, so you don't get caught up in them. Okay. And now, as the years go by, see, when you're a young person, 18, 20, 22, 25, well, that's a time to discover of the world and to develop skills, learn a trade. Okay, if you're a man, learn a business, be industrious, and then start a family. Okay, get married and start a family. Okay, and then you raise your family, then you have kids, and see, work, and like that. Okay, that's what generally that's all the Lord requires of you at that time. The Lord doesn't require you to be a Moses or a Jeremiah, okay, or a Winston Churchill or a George Washington. He could, okay, he might, but usually he doesn't. Usually he just wants you to be fair with people, not to resent others. Okay, don't cheat, don't lie to people, treat people honestly, and be patient with your kids, and live a decent moral life. That's basically what he requires. Okay, but then as you get older, see, then as the second half of life comes about, that's when you begin to wonder about such things as purpose and the spiritual side of life. See, that sort of thing. Now, your purpose may have already been unfolding. You may have already been involved in your purpose. See, or you're in the process of finding it, or maybe you haven't found it yet. See, remember Moses? The example I always give is Moses. Remember? Moses went off to be a sheep herder for 40 years. And he wasn't until he was 80 years old that he was ready for God to use him to lead the people out of Egypt. Okay? So I'm not saying you have to wait until 80, but it could be that the good Lord has something planned for you when you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay? You don't know what it is yet. So every day, live each day properly. Do what you can. Okay? Stay close to your conscience. Always check with your intuition. See? Let it be your guide. Let your conscience be your guide, like Jiminy Cricket said. Okay? And question. Question. Wonder about things. See, it's innocent to wonder. What's my purpose? Why am I here? To wonder. No matter what age you are, whether you're 18 or 14 or 12 or 90. Just wonder. And perhaps one day, and then maybe it'll develop, and then you'll see, oh, now I see what my purpose is. Or perhaps one day you'll just know. See, you wake up one morning and you'll just know. You don't even know how you know, but you know. See? Very well. Well, I'm going to stop at this point. Thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you next time. My name is Roland.